Welcome back to Big 12 Studios. I'm Casey Honigbaum, and today we are talking about the Union Jack Classic, Arizona State and Kansas kicking off in the UK Saturday, September 19th. And I'm joined here by Rob Yowell, who is the co-founder of the Union Jack Classic. Rob, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me today.
Casey, thank you very much for having me, and appreciate being on with you today. And we're excited about the Union Jack Classic, 30 days from kickoff, making college football history at Wembley Stadium, and looking forward to a glorious college football season that kicks off this week. But we've got a fun game that's going to be happening in Wembley in 30 days.
Yeah, absolutely. We can't wait here at the Big 12, especially. But I want to start from the beginning with you here. And obviously, the NFL's been playing in London for a few years. Obviously, the Jags are, kind of the home team in London, it seems like. College football's been in Ireland for a few years now. But now, bringing college football to the UK, how did that dream come about?
Well, I would say a lot of things, as a lot of things, it started a while ago, and it started, probably, my one of my partners, Thomas Hensey, has been working in London. He's TCU alum,
Yeah.
moved over there in the late '80s, and really as a college football player, spent a little time in the CFL. That was one of his visions. He's like, I really want to promote college football in London, but you're 26, you don't know anybody. Big dreams are big dreams. They take a while, right? And that evolves, and obviously the NFL came over, doing some exhibition games in the late '80s, early '90s, called the American Bowl Series,
Yeah.
and eventually leaned in to where they bring the regular season games over now. And we've had a chance, our organization has been working with them on building the media and been involved with the NFL over the years. But the evolution of college football, probably needed to get to a point to where London made sense.
Sure.
We didn't have all that conference realignment back then. We had rivalry games were intact. We were geographically more aligned culturally. Atlantic Coast Conference didn't have teams from California. The Big 12 was the Big Eight back then.
Right.
The Pac-12, had was 12 teams, back then. So
Yeah.
what we've had is this evolution, certainly in the past several years, of creating a new era of college athletics in general, with NIL coming in, but also a desire for colleges and their programs to look for new revenue streams, new opportunities, and obviously building their profile, not just domestically, but internationally. And
Yeah.
so the Ireland game, as you alluded to, has been successful up in Ireland with the Aer Lingus Classic. Games have been played in Tokyo in the past. Brian Dubisky, my other partner, played at Texas Tech, played in that game against Barry Sanders back in 1988 when he won the Heisman. So we've played games internationally with college, but it's kind of been one-offs. And we've even done I think I'd mentioned that we had a bowl game played in the Bahamas. So
Right. Yeah.
we've had some international activity, and obviously there's basketball is much more of an international sport than played as well. But football, that's our game. College football is something that's very unique to the United States, and for us to be able to get to a point to where probably about 2 years ago, we kind of got together and said, I think London is ready. There's significant amount of American football being played across Europe, domestic leagues, international leagues. The UK has a massive following with their flag football, starting to burgeon, and over 10,000 players in the British American Football League, as well as over 100 of their college and universities that play American football. So
Yeah.
there's a culture. It's there. The NFL has been building it over year, and now to bring a college football game over will help that British American football fan understand how a player goes from flag to kidded football to college before they get to the NFL, and understand that pathway that exists here in the U.S. That's not replicated anywhere in Europe, because they don't have the infrastructure that we have in the U.S. Around college football. So and the culmination of that is going to be this game in 30 days. And we're excited that the Big 12 is our partner in it, and two great universities in Arizona State and Kansas.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to ask because talking about the British and the UK fans that are going to be over there taking in this game between Arizona State and Kansas. One of the things you mentioned, the Jaguars have been playing here for a few years now. They're always ingrained in the community over there when they go over there to play. Are there plans for Kansas and for Arizona State to kind of interact with the UK community at all? What does that look like?
Well, yeah, first and foremost, our overall vision with this game was not to be there for a week, buy tickets and
Sure.
book out, right? We have a year-round platform
Yeah.
as an event, as promoters. We're the title sponsor of the British American Football Association. So, kind of their USA football, they're playing from flag, youth flag all the way up to senior kidded football. We're the title sponsor of that. We're giving back. We're a six-figure sponsor of their American football governing body. And so, and what we are doing is that we're bringing the teams that play in our game and integrating them out into the fabric, into the ecosystem of the game in the UK. So,
Right.
as part of our partnership, we're investing in. We did 2 clinics with the Jaguars that were elite clinics. So we invited top elite players, and they were able to be coached by elite level. Now, NCAA rules still kind of play in here a little bit. So the coaches could only participate in the 23 and older
Right.
athletes, well,
Okay.
those that were quote outside their eligibility. Now, but we were able to, because of that relationship, kind of bring in some of their top youth players and do these elite clinics with the Jaguars. And then what we've done is that we put together weekly Zoom calls, and the coaching staff of Kansas and ASU come on these calls for about 90 minutes, talk ball with all the coaches that are out there coaching. I mean, there's no limit. We
Yeah.
try to limit to about 150, 200 guys in on a Zoom call, but
That's
we
a
got the
ton.
offensive
Yeah.
coordinator of Kansas talking ball for, with these coaches, and just, and then just being interactive, talking about culture, talking about, how team building, those kinds of things. And so giving them access that they otherwise wouldn't have to, Division I power four coaches, investing in their officials. We've got the Big 12 is making their lead officials available for a similar type of Zoom for all these young officials. And again, officials never ever get it always right, but
Sure.
maybe we can help educate them a little bit more, and putting the head official for the Big 12 on there and talking about, hey, how this is how we officiate a game, and just trying to help the game grow. And we actually fund. We have a fund over there where it allows we're trying to recruit more officials.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes there's a cost to that. And so we've helped through our sponsorship try to reduce that cost entry. What may be 100 pounds for someone, we're able to cut that in half because of our sponsorship, to try to grow and get more efficient, young athletes, men and
Yeah.
women, get involved in officiating the game, because maybe they're not players, but they love the game. It's another
Sure.
way to get involved. So, we look at growing it that way. And so you talk about, being part of the fabric. The Jaguars, made that commitment years ago, and they, signed a 10-year deal. And they are our partners as well. We're partners with them. And so, we are, kind of hand and shoulder together in the marketplace, growing the game with them.
Well,
So
yeah.
Kansas and ASU are involved with us through that. But I will say that ASU is opening up an actual campus in London.
Oh,
So
wow.
they actually, that campus
Very
opens
cool.
the Monday after our game. So we have 500 students that have enrolled in the ASU London campus that will be at the game.
Yeah.
So
Oh, wow.
that is obviously a major investment that they've made. Kansas has a massive alumni involvement in the UK and in the region as well. So we anticipate both schools leaning in and creating an atmosphere and being part of it. Lance Leopold said, loves the idea of his team getting this cultural experience, but he came over for one of our clinics, and he just had a blast. He was like, there were so many things he wanted to do and see. The NCAA said, no, you can't do that. You can't talk to them. But he wanted to go to the NFL Academy. And so I know he is just a coach, and as an individual is enamored with, what the international market can do. And so I would anticipate this is just the beginning of a Kansas and an ASU maybe coming over to London on their own accord, maybe finding some athletes over there, maybe find some ballers in Europe, and we're already seeing it. But hey, maybe they're getting a little head start with our game.
I love that. And obviously, I want to preface this next question by saying you are a neutral supporter, but you also happen to be an adjunct professor at ASU in the business and business management, sports management school. And I wanted to ask because you have a unique insight on this as well, kind of getting to see firsthand what a Big 12 fan base really looks like. Why was the Big 12 conference the right conference? And then you can even go off that and talk about Arizona State if you'd like to. But why was the Big 12 conference in particular the right conference to be the one to introduce college football to the fans in the UK?
Well, I think a couple things. I mean, look, it starts at the top. It starts with vision. It starts with someone that looks at the international marketplace as a growth opportunity. Brett,
Sure.
Yormark has has been a visionary in everything he's done. I mean, when he was with the Nets, I mean, he took the Nets over and played numerous times in Europe. I mean, so Brett was always, from a vision standpoint, there. Obviously, the year we announced, you had Farmageddon in Ireland. I mean, so you had K-State and Iowa State over there playing an international game, kicking off the season. And so, and again, it was a tremendous success. And for us, working with Brett, and Brett leaned in on this. I mean, and I'll say, first and foremost, when we went over and got the date, we got the date. We actually had a non Big 12 game. All right, we had a matchup that
Sure.
was a non Big 12 game initially. Or I should say it was the TCU the TCU game against North
Yeah.
Carolina was the first game that we had initially because of Thomas's relationship with
With
TCU,
TCU, of
and
course.
also
Yeah.
Brian Dubisky, our chairman. Brian played at Texas Tech, played for Spike Dykes, Sonny's dad, and then another partner of ours, friend of ours, Chris Pesman. Chris, who's now the athletic director at Arkansas State. Chris was the senior associate AD at Cal when Sonny was
Okay.
coaching there, and took him to Australia. So we had, and again, this goes back to one of the things, Casey, that I always tell my students, is relationships in this business are incredibly important, and you never
Yeah.
know when they're going to rear up and help you accomplish a goal, or maybe help you get a deal, or in this case, connect some dots on, hey, I know that coach over there. I've got a relationship with this commissioner over here. I've got a relationship with Graham Rossini here at ASU, and we've got this date on September 19th to play a game in Wembley, week 3. Well, everybody we talked to, and Sonny Dyke said, "Hey, I need to play in week 0. I can't move this game into the season." So when
Yeah.
we got Wembley at week 3, we had to let that game go because Ireland wanted them too. And I said, "Hey, man, go to Ireland, be successful. We're not going to stand in your way. We appreciate you having faith in us. We just can't get you the date in London you want." So with that, you turn to being a promoter and going, okay, who's playing on that weekend? What's a game we can go get and a game we can go sell? And so we started looking at games on that weekend. And so I actually had a conversation with Graham, and they had a home game that weekend. It was not an opponent we wanted to bring over, so we were trying to figure out how to make that work. Graham said, "Yes, I want to play in your game, whether I'm the home team or the visiting team. You let me know if we can do that." And then that started the conversation with the Big 12. They were at media days, and Brett Yormark, being the deal maker that he is, hey, Kansas, your stadium's getting renovated right now. Half your entire east stand is going to be under construction. Maybe it's a good time for you guys to maybe take that game. You got 7 home games next year. Let's take one of those to London, and we're going to make ASU your opponent. And now we got a Big 12 game. And that's a little bit of how the sausage gets made in the kitchen. But it was a deal made with a visionary commissioner that is bullish on international. He's got 16 schools. All of them have international students across their all of their athletics, and it just builds the brand. And Brett was a big brand builder. You get ASU, opening a campus and wants to do this. Kansas, who is in a position to say, hey, we're trying to rebuild our program, grow. We've got a great coach in Lance Leopold. So all those things kind of combine to create year one for us and the matchup. And the Big 12 is at the centerpiece of it. So, we're, like I said, we're excited, and great relationship. Obviously, we had 3 different TV partners that come into play, and so kind of being in the mix of that was really exciting for us, and kind of gave us that we're the week 3 game now, or actually week 4 in this new format. So we're excited. And look, the Big 12 is a big part of our journey and our vision, and that's kind of how we got to here. And now we've got the Monster Energy Big 12 as our partner for year one. I know you're missing something on your shirt there.
I know.
Well,
I haven't gotten the patch yet.
they haven't gotten you the new swag yet. I get it.
That's right. My last question, and you teased on it a little bit there, but you mentioned, obviously this is year one of the Union Jack Classic. What do you guys need to see? What do you expect to see? What do you anticipate? Because I anticipate you guys don't plan on this just being a one-off thing. What do you guys want to see for this to be a success in year one, bringing college football to the UK?
Well, first of all, I mean, we've got a multi-year deal at Wembley, so it's not a one and done deal. And I was on calls. I've been on calls all week, last week, with teams that want to play in 27, 28.
Yeah.
So what was once a game, someone said you'll never get anybody to play in week 3, is now a game where people are lining up to play in the new week 4. So we're blessed that we pulled it off, if you will, right? Our game is happening. We are 30 days away, and college football is coming to London. What do we look for as success? When we try to control what we can control. We want to create the atmosphere. We want to create an environment where people that are coming to the game, whether they're traveling over, whether they're coming from the Midlands in the UK, whether they're local Londoners going, hey man, I want to go check this thing out. I want everybody that comes into our game, into the stadium, to to enjoy some of the things that we like and love about college football, but to have a great experience, because that's going to get them as repeat customers for next year, regardless of who's playing in this game. Right. There's always going to be a fan base that comes, but then there's just like, hey, I just had a great time at that game. It was a fun event. I want to do that every year, kind of thing. And so for us, we want a great game. We want an entertaining game, and we feel that we've got 2 schools that will be evenly matched, and we think we'll have a very competitive game. 2 is that we're on track to probably put about 60,000 fans in this stadium. So we will have and Brett is over there right now, and he was sharing with Thomas yesterday. He goes, guys, 60,000 would be awesome. That's nowhere close to what our average attendance is in the Big 12. So your game will be one of the most attended Big 12 games of the year. So just from a conference standpoint, doing that in an international market, says something. Like, our quality of football and the interest in the game is high, even in an international market. Two is, as we look at next year, we launched year one. It leaked out. We were going up against NFL games that were being played when we announced. We've got the full runway. We've got, hopefully we've gotten a little smarter, Casey. Our advertising campaign. We don't have a World Cup to compete against this year in the market, right? We've got, we don't have an Olympic Games that's taking away some people's attention. We've got a full, slate that we can start marketing, now for 27. And so, for us is that one, the first success is we got a matchup, we got a game, we're on TV, and we're kicking off in 30 days. The second thing is that we now have people calling us wanting to play in this game, and that's a great problem to have. Awesome. 3 is that we've got other cities going, I want a game. Okay, so we as an organization are looking at expanding into Europe. We have several markets that we're in conversations with. We're actually having conversations about expanding the sport, another sport, a round ball, one that's more international already. So what this has led to is not just a game. It's now a movement. It's a movement around American college football, but American college athletics in general, and football, basketball. Maybe there's other sports that start to say, we really like this idea of playing internationally. One, it's a great experience for student athletes. It's a massive opportunity for each school to kind of
Yeah.
create a little bit more profile. Does it increase enrollment? Hey, we all have alumni around the world. Let's get that expat community to come over and get a little slice of Americana when they're living in France or Germany or in the UK, and can easily get over to London, watch a college football game. It's pretty awesome, you know. So all those things are what we believe is going to make this successful. And at the end of the day, just look, we wake up every day and just want, to be at this stage in my career, to be able to do something new, different, and unique. You don't really get a chance to do something for the first time when you're 60 years old. And I'm getting to do that. And I share this with my class. My class last year kind of got to experience the entire rolling out of this game.
Oh,
So,
that's great.
my class is not out of a textbook. It's about how this industry, we attack it each day as it happens. And so they got to see an event unfold, and an event unfold that their professor was in the middle of, but also so was their university. So that
Right.
was kind of a really cool, unique thing to have young future leaders in the sports business kind of really get to peek behind the curtain. We did media trips, so we brought over UK media to the Arizona State TCU game, that Friday night game, that blackout game, which they were
Yeah,
down 17-0 and came back and won right at the end.
that's right.
I mean, we
What a game to be at. Yeah.
we had 8 or 9, media folks from the UK, never been to a college football game.
Oh my
That was
God.
their first experience. Then we did the same. We brought about another 10 to the Kansas State rivalry game, Sunflower Showdown, and they got to see that. They got to see two different perspectives of what makes college football great to you and me, and now they get it. They go, okay, now I know. They got to see the tailgating at 6 a.m. in the morning at Kansas.
Yeah.
Fraternity parties were going on at 6 a.m. when they rolled in, and they lost the game, and it was still rolling afterwards. So these are the things that you can't, some of the things you can't replicate, but some of that we can bring over. And so we're really excited about, bringing all that together, having it culminate in 30 days at Wembley, and then making that an annual, celebration of college football in Wembley each year, moving forward.
Yeah, not to pump fake you here. I did something you said there sparked one more question that I have to ask you, and you've been so generous with your time. Thank you again for sitting down with us. But you mentioned, we're coming right off the heels of the World Cup, where I think a lot of American sports fans got to see just how passionate those, like you said to us, those soccer fan bases are. And I think, the people in the UK know very well what it's like to be really invested in a sports team. And it's funny because, I think that the closest resemblance to that here in the US really is your college football rivalries, your college sport rivalries. You know this well. You were a lacrosse player at Duke. You know all about college sport rivalries. Like, how exciting is that to be able to showcase in the UK with college football that, hey, here in America, we have rivalries that, for lack of a better term, that rival what you've got going on with soccer, or maybe are trying to get to that. What has that whole process been like to see, and how excited are you to show those UK fans what we're all about?
Well, yes, and again, we call it that, that tribalism
Sure.
that exists both on their side with, the passion for their soccer club,
Yeah.
and our passion for our alma maters.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, you go to an NFL game and it's 32 jerseys in a stadium.
Sure. Sure.
You go to a college football game, I mean, it is clearly you're not seeing all the Big 12 jerseys at a TCU Texas Tech game. You're
Right.
seeing either purple or you're seeing the double T. That is what you're seeing when you walk in there. There is nobody else rolling in wearing an Oklahoma jersey and going, "Hey, it was the only football jersey I had." The NFL kind of leans itself into, "Hey man, we're just selling jerseys and merchandise over here.
Sure.
We're
Sure.
sending games over here." And I don't know if you're a Jets fan, Giants fan, or a Rams fan, or a Jags fan. Probably more than anything, you're going to see when you go to a Jags game, at Wembley, you do see a little bit more Jag gear versus, the other 32 teams. But
Right.
when we, for us, college was, and it's part of our marketing campaign. Choose a side, choose a color. You wearing maroon and gold this week. You wearing red and blue. Pick a side. Get on the side, and you figure it out. Chant Rock Chalk Jayhawk. Chant Forks
Mhm.
Up. You like Sparky. You like Big J. Care? Get into it. Just like you would when you're going to, Manchester. Is the city blue this week or is it red this week? When those two play, if the red team wins, Manchester's red. If City wins, Manchester's
Mhm.
blue.
That's right.
Kind of like that. And look,
Yeah.
one day, look, I would say this. I would love to see us be able to go to a rivalry game. Hey, Bedlam. Bedlam isn't happening anymore. But hey, let's go talk to Oklahoma State and Oklahoma. Maybe like, hey, Bedlam in Britain. Why not? We got a big stadium over here.
Ooh,
Let's
that
do
name
this,
sounds
right?
good. Yeah. All right.
Something like, again, as we evolve and grow and we educate, not only the other, colleges and universities
Yeah.
that are leaning in and starting to look at these opportunities, but that community would go, dude, we've got a rivalry game over here now. I mean, look, there's some that are never going to move and never should move, but I would say that those ones that for whatever reason conference realignment has made challenging to happen,
Yeah.
maybe we're the reason it can happen again. As they play in our game week 4 in London, if you guys can't figure it out in your regular schedule, we'll get you over here and we'll make it a neutral site game on an international global stage and give your rivalry a whole new level of respect. And more importantly, give your fans the game that they all want. They're just going to have to fly over to London to go see it, and that'll be fun too.
Oh my God. I mean, shoot, as a fan, you're getting me excited just thinking about that. Yeah, you got the wheels turning there.
You ready to go marketing with me, Casey?
Yeah, I'm in on that. That sounds awesome.
Oh
But
man.
that's the
Well,
again, that's the fun part
yeah.
of being in the business that I'm in, is that I
Right.
get to sit down and create something like this
Yeah.
and have a conversation with you, have a conversation with Brett Yormark, walk into college ADs at NACTA and have them come over to me and go, we've got an open date in 29. You think we can work something out, maybe come over and play in London? I said, let me get back to you on that. Let's look at, that's just fun stuff. And again, we've all grown up. Certainly, if any of us that are athletes, we love to compete. We love to have fun. Being around sports is not really working a day for us. It's just, it's what we do. And like I said, I'm blessed to do it. I'm, thankful for my partners that I work with on this game. Thankful for our partners at the Big 12, Kansas and ASU for being visionaries with us. And again, all the fans that are taking time, out of their schedule to fly over, all those British fans that are saying, I'm willing to take a flyer, come watch this game and go be part of history. And certainly our friends at Fox that thought enough of this game to one, say that we want this game, but we're going to send out over our big noon kickoff and we're going to send over Matt Liner and Coach Meyer and Rob Stone and Dave Portnoy and the whole crew. We're going to send the craziness over there for the first time ever, take their pregame show international and be right there at Wembley Stadium. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're excited about it, and look, we control what we can control. We think it's going to be a great day in London, weather-wise. We've got a fantastic venue. We got a great broadcast partner. We got 2 awesome universities that are part of it. A great conference, man. College football is just it starts next week, but for me in 30 days, it hits a whole new level.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine. Well, Rob, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us and I mean, raise my excitement level, if not everybody else watching here. Saturday.
I guarantee I got you tuning in.
Oh yeah, I was tuning in regardless, but absolutely. Saturday, September 19th, 2026, Arizona State and Kansas kicking off in London, iconic Wembley Stadium. It's going to be amazing. Rob, again, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you everybody for watching us here on the Big 12 Conference's YouTube page. Make sure to check out the Union Jack Classic coming your way in 30 days.